Hello, legends of YouTube. Welcome to another week of Bitcoin analysis where we dig into where we're going to go and where we've come from for the week. So, if we're having a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, thanks to CoinGlass for the free information, we can see that we've got a liquidity level over the last 24 hours building at 55,517. Now, if we carry this over onto our chart, we can see that at 515 is in between the level of this wick that we've got written out as a liquidity retest on the hourly at 55,654, and the liquidity area sits just below that at 55,550. So there's really like a nice, thick, juicy level of liquidity sitting right under here as a juicy buy zone. As an area to go short just through there, which is really nice to know. So that is an area that I'm looking at as a potential short option from that 55,650. Now, where we are at this point, we are sitting and we're testing currently the 618 retracement from the entire move up. So from the impulse from the carry trade, let's just do a quick zoom out because we keep talking about this carry trade. So from the 5th of August, we have come up, we've impulsed from the low, we reached the high around the 26th of August. Now we have retraced down in this regressive trend channel with 2 standard deviations to each side. Now we are currently still in this standard deviation. We've come to the sell side liquidity of the regressive channel. We are sitting just below the 618 level, which is 55,250, and our price is 55,083 at current time, which is 2 o'clock this Monday. So what I'm looking at is my high is I'm generally believing that I'm just going to play to the zone above here with that 55,650 as my high for areas to go short, because we are coming up through the Asian session. We have had the expansion of the regressive channel, so as we come out it may expand for us to go lower. We have seen that on Friday we had the freak out liquidity where we came down and we absolutely swooshed and took out from the sell side liquidity beyond the buy side, and then we were quickly bought up, and then we've just bounced around to get to this point. But all this occurred over the weekend where we had no institutional buyers through here. In here was no institutional buyers on that Saturday and Sunday, so that is purely retail traders buying what they think is a good juicy buy, which may be the case. However, because there's no institutional buyers in there, it doesn't give enough volume. If we look down here, so like the liquidity sellout was massive wicks in this volume, and the weekend had no trading. Like even if we go across, the whole week had plenty more volume in comparison to yesterday, Sunday, and the day before Saturday. So there's not a lot of volume through here. So even though there's been uptrend, there's not a lot of support volume-wise to instigate that this is the only way that we're going to bounce up to the 70k. So, so I do have the bias that that 55,650 is basically our high for today. But I'm going to watch and see. I am going to enter a short if we reach up to that level. But at the same time, we are seeing that once we sell through here, so should we sell down I do want to see a touch to this 786 zone to go up to higher prices. And should we break here, then I will be looking at potentially coming over into the sell side where we've got a few. That one's being liquidated. I do this every episode. So that one's been liquidated. So we've basically got these zones through here, which are nice and nice zones where we can actually capture a wick to the upside, but we're in the sell side liquidity. So it's going to be a lot of interest if we keep going up through London session over to the US, or whether we're going to come down through the US. I think if we end up with a bullish side of Asia, we're up currently. Let's just duck over into the daily. We're up currently 0.36% for the day, which is really not a lot at all. But if we get a little bit of bullish momentum through the London session, then we could potentially reach up these highs and then come back down lower. Let's bring back that regressive channel. Where are you? There we go. Alright, let's reset this chart view. Here we are. Alright, so we've got the potential that we can be coming down to the 786 at 52,546. So that's the low that I'm looking at over the next sort of 24 hours. The high I'm looking at is the 55,650. What we want to see is actually a sweep of liquidity. So that sweep of liquidity through the heat map up here would be a great liquidation of shorts to be taken out of the market before we move away from their intended direction. And that would just lead to people being wiped out, go, I missed the trade, and they will FOMO in, which will push the price down to the direction that they had intentionally intended. So the reason why I'm still thinking that we've got a bit of bearish direction is that if I look at let's go over to the DXY. So that's the US dollar against the euro and the yen. So let's zoom this out, let's zoom this out, let's zoom this out. So even though we're definitely in this downtrend, load, here we go. So I'm on an hourly chart at the moment. There we go, we're reset. So we're on the downtrend, and you can see that here is the downtrend regressive trend channel, so we can definitely come up to this level at 102.15, 0.16. So we have plenty of capacity to come up to this zone, because that's where the regressive trend channel is before we actually start to come back down to lower prices. What we can also see is that at this zone here, we are at the buy zone. Let's just turn that into a buy the dip, sell the rip extended. So what we can see here is that from the low of the 28th of August, we have created a new regressive channel where we are still in the buy zone of this bullish regressive channel. So we've come up, we've fallen back through on Friday and the morning of Saturday, and we've bought it up, and now we're still in this zone where we can definitely come up, because if we're in a bearish channel on the buy side and we're on a bullish channel on the buy side, that gives more inclination that we are on a buy direction. So we've got a bullish bias. If we're buy side selling, buy side buying, that gives us a double side of buy, which gives us more inclination to go bounce up to this regressive channel, but also with the weight of this regressive channel, because it is longer and older, and there's more information and more data to give credence to that channel regressive trend line there. So let's also just move across onto the VIX. So I was talking on the VIX last week about we want to see a peak. You know, like here we had the obvious peak of the carry trade. There was a freak out. But what we want to see is here we've got a double top. Now maybe that might be enough, but I am still believing that we do potentially have a peak involved. You know, maybe we'll come up and challenge this peak here. Maybe we'll come up to the 29 marks, which as volatility increases on the VIX, volatility increases, fear increases, prices generally move down. So as that includes, as the VIX is still high, the DXY gets stronger, the S&P and Bitcoin and total crypto market cap move lower. So that's my bias for the VIX, the DXY. Let's move over onto the S&P with the intention that we think it's going to be moving lower. So let's just have a look at the wider picture and the wider trend lines and biases. I'm not sure which one it's meant to be. Alright, so we've got the carry trade bullish trend line from here. Where is that? So let's extend that out to where we currently are, including this massive sell-off through here. Now we are beyond the 2 standard deviations of the trend line here. So that generally means that we have started to diverge from that current trend line. So what we're seeing here is we've got a high, a low, a higher high, a lower high, a lower low, lower high, lower low. So we've formed more than 2 lower lows, lower highs. That means that we are confirmed broken on that regressive trend channel. So we'll still leave it there, just because, look, you never know. Maybe we'll spring back in and we'll start maybe we'll start to bounce our way across here and then come back in. Who knows? But we'll keep it there as a. Actually, let's just move it back to, rather than an extension, let's just pull it back to a buy dip, sell a rip, and end it there. And where we've got here, we've definitely got, so this is now our current high, and we'll extend it across to where we currently are. So we've got our high, we've got our low. Now we can see where we currently are. Now, at this trajectory, we can't consistently fall at this price. However, here we are at this level where we've dipped on Saturday at 6 o'clock, which was the end of trading session last week. So that's US time, but 6 o'clock is Australian time, Brisbane. Now we are being bullish for all of this morning. The US and London still haven't come on board. So we need to see how things are going to start playing out. So let's just quickly do a quick tidy up on the S&P. We are in this downtrend, so we do have to bear that in mind. But we also have to know that we do have resistance coming through here. Oh, that's a nice juicy level. So if we look at this juicy level, we've got this wick. That's a great wick. So with that wick just there at Friday 11 o'clock on the 6th of September, we've got a full imbalance wick through, a full imbalance wick up, and then a full imbalance wick down. So we've got this fantastic, like, even though it's been touched 3 times, it hasn't been wicked. It's been imbalance candle each way. So that gives a really good challenge level. And especially the fact that it's at a, where are we? So even though we are at a level, even though it's been wicked through twice, the fact that it is beyond the 2 standard deviations of the regressive trend channel, should price come up that is going to be a real resistance level for it to come away from. Like it's a, that one's being gone. Here we are. So there are two zones. They are two resistance levels of the S&P 500 that that my bias tells me that we aren't going to break above. And so that's my bias from the buy side. If I look at the sell side, the only support that we're looking at for the S&P 500 is down here, because everything else has been mitigated by multiple candles or wicks, and there really isn't anything else to show for it. So that gives me credence that, and the bias, the S&P 500 is going to be moving to the downside, even though we have a little bit of bullish bias and movement and momentum from the Asian session today on Monday. We will get the London session kick in, but we also will have the US opening at about midnight tonight. So that's going to smash that, and it will reiterate where it believes it's going to be going. And that's what I have for today. I hope everyone has a spectacular night. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, happy trading. Bye.